We're here with John Cassidy, and we're reminiscing about the campaign for Proposition 17 in 1974. How did you come into it all?
Well, in I trained on the river in 71. I worked in Idaho in 72. I went overseas in 73. And the beginning of 74, I came back and discovered that Mark Dubois, was fully engaged in a campaign to prevent the construction of, or the filling of a reservoir, which would drown the section of the Stanislaus that we'd all grown to love in our first year. And the political mo was going, and so jump on board. One thing I did soon, maybe even in the spring, there was an organized paddle from Camp 9 on the Stanislaus all the way down to San Francisco. Going to take 5, 6, 7 days, whatever it took, to bring attention to the fight. And so I jumped on that, paddled from Camp 9 down to San Francisco.
That became the row for the river.
Yes, that was the row for the river. And every time I crossed the San Joaquin or the Stanislaus on my many drives since that year, I always go, well, I paddled through here, all these houseboats in dead flat water. There must have been a couple of hundred of us at the end. A memorable trip, and we landed at Aquatic Park in San Francisco and drew a lot of attention. It was a well orchestrated and successful piece of PR. But I do remember, and lots took place that I don't remember so well. Sacramento, skits, an effort to bring Governor Brown's attention more to the issue. But towards the end of the summer, beginning of the election, of course, was in November, and it must have been in October and running up to Election Day. The thing I remember specifically, we were all living in LA. By all of us, I mean there was a little shock group of people who were running around hanging banners.
Mostly river guides and other people. Yeah.
Running around, hanging banners, sticking flyers in people's doors and things like that, and trying to make a stink and bring attention to the issue. The issue was a Northern California issue, and we were down in LA figuring that's where the election was going to swing, and these people didn't know or care. We were trying to fix that. Two anecdotes, one quick. I was standing with somebody else on a pedestrian overpass in Los Angeles, and hanging a banner as we were staring at a typical Los Angeles traffic jam. In other words, as far as the eye could see, the cars were stuck on the 405 or whatever it was. And so we're standing up there a little bit disappointed because nobody's moving. And so the only people seeing our banner were the people in front of us, this parking lot kind of situation. But as we're doing that, up the pedestrian overpass comes a CHPer in his motorcycle up the overpass, bump, because it's stairs. Anyway, he comes up and parks next to us. He's got his helmet, he's got his tough guy thing going on. Explains that what we're doing is against the law. We were distracting traffic, whatever the technical term was. Distracting traffic is what I interpreted it to mean. Anyway, I didn't, although I said something or pointed something like that, going, the traffic isn't moving. But I didn't want to, He was, as he was filling that out, my partner, whose name escapes me right now, explained that what we were doing was for this damn thing, and that he, in his view, also thought that the traffic wasn't moving. At which point, the policeman, the trooper, hands us our ticket and says, "Well, I guess you have to punch your TS card." And we both went, or somebody went, our TS card. I have to thank the guy for this because I've been using this expression ever since. Punch our TS card, what's that? As he gets back on his bike, he goes, "That's your tough shit card." And I've used that expression many times in the intervening 50 years when I have to explain to somebody, you have to punch your TS card. Anyway, I pass that along to you, maybe for the same reason. The only other particular incident I remember, which must have been a few days later, was the night before the election. We, all the volunteers were piling back into a bus to head back to Sacramento because the election was the next morning. But a few of us decided what would be super valuable was to run through the what's the valley there?
San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando Valley all night, putting flyers in doorknobs. Wouldn't that be fun? And there were 3 or 4 of us willing to do it. And this bus was loading up in front of our little HQ. And so I walked onto the bus. It was filling up with volunteers who were going home. I walked onto the bus and I said, well, in my case, I have what I call a short-winded muse. Maybe not good for the marathons, but good for the sprints. And so I said, tonight, those of you who are interested, we're going to be sprinting through the San Fernando Valley, sticking flyers in doorknobs all night long. Doesn't that sound like fun? And I got 4 or 5 people to get up off that bus and come back and join us to run through the San Fernando Valley all night long. And so about 8 or 9 of us did that. We stuffed, I don't know how many doorknobs, but that's the second incident that I remember from those days.
So my recollection, I was there for that, and my recollection is in the afternoon you came up with some brilliant idea about getting a telegram-looking flyer that somebody had given you.
That's right.
And you arranged for printing thousands of those, literally at the moment, because it was the night before the election.
Okay, that's a level of detail I wasn't able to resuscitate there, but okay.
I remember being part of the distribution brigade. We had some of us in a car, we were out dropping. We stopped to phone in to headquarters, and we got hit from 5 sides by police cars, lights on, up against the wall. Somebody had called in that there were all these gangs running from door to door. And we explained, we said, we've called the district attorney, we've let the police know, we're legit. And they finally let us go, but it was wild.
Maybe it was the same guy that told me to punch my TS card.
Yeah, exactly.
Jennifer Jennings. Jennifer Jennings was one of the gals that we talked off the bus. You're either on the bus or off the bus, but we want you off. And that's actually the first time that I really met Jennifer Jennings, was that night, that evening. And of course, she's been friends for the last.
And she became a major part of the Friends of the River legal team and all, so.